Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the Sigmascape version 2.0, also known as 06N. This is the second new raid made available by patch 4.2 in Final Fantasy XIV, Rise of a New Sun. The first time I ran through here, I had a real brush with danger, and I suffered a lot of paint, but I guess you could say I wasn't in the right frame of mind yet. My name is Ms. Tech, and I'll be your raid guide. You'll notice 4 elemental paintings around the room, and 4 sketches in front of each one. Using the duty action button in this encounter while standing on a specific sketch will activate a specific ability that will be used to counter mechanics throughout the encounter. Once the encounter begins, Demon CHADARNOOK will appear on the platform. He'll begin with Demonic Howl, a raid-wide AoE blast that should be healed through. Goddess CHADARNOOK is also active throughout the encounter, and while she can't be targeted, she'll slam the off-tank with auto attacks that can get nasty if ignored. Next up, Demonic Shear will target the main tank for high damage. Cool down and heal through this as necessary. Eventually, Demon will move to the center and begin to cast Possession on the fire painting. This will cause a massive AoE blast that will do high damage and debuff any player's hit. To avoid this, players will use their duty action button on the water sketch in front of the fire painting to receive a fire resist up buff. Heal through some more AoE and another tank buster, and the boss will cast Release. This will return him back to the center, where he will possess another painting. This time, he's possessing the earth painting. This will cause a massive earthquake, dealing high damage and debuffing anyone it hits. To avoid death, players will use their duty action buttons on the Air Force sketch in front of the earth painting. This will cause them to start riding a tiny Air Force mount that will lift them off of the ground, allowing them to avoid the earthquake completely. After the attack, players can dismount and resume their attacks on the boss. Next up, 2 players will be marked for prey and targeted by a sequence of small AoE circles. They'll need to move away from others and continue running away from the AoEs until the attack ends. More AoE and another tank buster, and then the boss will release and possess the next painting. This time, possession of the water painting will create a massive wave that will knock back, deal high damage, and debuff anyone it hits. To avoid this, one player needs to paint the rock sketch in front of the water painting to spawn a large boulder. The group will hide behind this boulder to avoid the attack. Players will also need to watch out for these small AoE circles that will spawn water spouts. Move away from these as necessary. The 4th possession will be the wind painting. One player will need to use their action button on the sketch in front of the wind painting to mount this pink Ghostbusters looking thing. They'll use their pet action button to blow away the easterly ads that spawn all over the platform, creating a safe area for the group to stand in. These easterlies will eventually explode, and you don't want to be caught in that damage. Demonic Pain will tether a few players to the boss with these pink arrow lines. These players will need to move away from the boss until their tether turns purple to avoid excess damage and debuffs. Next, all players will need to stack with the player marked for flash scale to share the damage. The boss will then release and then possess 2 paintings at once. Players will now have to deal with the mechanics of both paintings at the same time. The general principle remains the same. Simply use your duty action on the sketch in front of the possessed paintings to gain the ability that will allow you to counter the attacks. It is worth noting that once inside the mini airship, you won't be able to paint, so if you find yourself having to grab both, make sure you start with the sketch in front of fire first. Anytime Demon possesses more than one painting, you'll notice he clones himself to be able to cast both of the abilities of each painting at once. The haunt clone can't be targeted. Instead, it's simply a matter of handling the extra overlap of mechanics. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll head into Sigmascape version 3.0. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time.